How's the fan reception been after coming back last week and just being back integrated in the sport?
I honestly, there was way more than I thought. I mean, I think you get out of the sport for a little bit and you realize that you've been here for a while and you've done a lot and done some cool stuff. And I knew I had some great fans from the past, but had no idea how many people you've really, touched at some point throughout your career. And Martinsville was pretty amazing to see the people lined up outside the tunnel with all my cars and all the stuff, diecast cars and things like that to sign. It's pretty impressive. And the other thing was, too, I can't tell you how many people that told me that they flew in from out of state and hadn't been to a race in 8 or 10 years. And it really hits home when you're sitting here in the alumni program and you're seeing all these guys that have been in the sport for so long. And I think that huge kudos to NASCAR to put this together, regenerate, get some of these guys that have been in the sport for a long, long time that maybe haven't spent a lot of time at the track in recent years, and create a platform for them to be here. I think it's necessary for them, us, and I think it's necessary for the fans to be able to reconnect with the guys that they supported for so many years. So, I've talked about, I remember talking to Ben Kennedy and, something like Steve Phelps a couple of years ago about, really, a guy like that's been around in the sport, you pick X amount of time, that classifies you for this deal, but they all need a hard card. They all need like some sort of gold hard card that just gives them all access. And you know what? They may not come to a race that year, but at the same time, if something's in their town or they happen to be there, they have something, they don't feel, ashamed to have to call and ask. They might have been out of the sport long enough where they didn't know who to call. The people had changed, logistically. So, to see this type of deal that NASCAR is doing now is just huge, and I think it's way overdue and super welcome.
Being one of the younger drivers in the alumni group now, seeing all the older drivers who came before you, all you guys in one room, what's that environment like?
You feel not worthy. To be honest, as a young guy, you walk into that tent and you see the history and the amount of the people that have been in this sport way longer than I have, and the guys that you look up to, the heroes that you have that are walking around in that tent. And you really walk in. Listen, my career was not the top career of a lot of these guys, right? But I had a long, sustaining career. I was in the sport for a long time. So when I look at the guys here that have won the championships and won all the races they have, it's, I feel a little unworthy to be here. But at the same time, I know I've been around a long time and contributed to the sport as well. So it's just a really neat experience. And I'm happy to be, some small part of that.
We're outside here, and so we didn't hear what was going on in there. But what are some of the drivers telling you as you talk about what you mentioned to us?
I think a lot of that same conversation, there's some guys, there's some older guys in there that literally didn't even know who to reach out to come to an event, and then, there were times where in the past where, and I was in this scenario where I was like, hey, can I get a hot pass to come? And you get that hot pass, they accommodate you, but then you have a hot pass, and then with a hot pass, you can't get up to the suites or you can't get into a certain area of the track. And after being here for so many years and having all access, it's almost a little, I'm happy to be there, but at the same time, you kind of feel a little, underappreciated, if you can't get somewhere. And NASCAR's rebounding from that. I mean, this whole alumni program is going full circle. And anybody that's watching this, honestly, if there's any other, past driver, past crew chief, somebody that's been involved in NASCAR that thinks that they're not, maybe eligible or wouldn't be treated right to come do something like this, I encourage them to reach out and get with Amber and everybody with this alumni program, and they want you to come. They want you to be here.
Beyond the starts you're doing this year to get to your 500, what are your plans after that with NASCAR? Doing more appearances, working with NASCAR? What's your life like after you get to that 500 start?
Well, it's a day-by-day thing for me right now. This is all a bonus round, and I felt really good in the car at Martinsville. That obviously we didn't have the setup right, and the car was off, but it was a lot of fun to go racing again. And it's been a great platform to get other people interested in doing those 10 races. But assuming we can get that put together, I don't know what the future holds. I love being a part of the sport. I've been out of it long enough now where it's really refreshing to come back and be a part of it. So looking forward to seeing what the future holds after that.
Do you hope to get to 10 races this year?
I don't think I really think it would be very difficult to put the 10 races this year, and it's not that I couldn't do it. It's finding the right opportunity that can facilitate that type of program. There's very few with the charter program now where there's 36 full-time guys. There's only a handful of places that could even facilitate it logistically. So, I think it would be a little bit out of character to say that, hey, I could get them all in this season. I think in a dream world, if I could get 9 more in and then finish my 500 start at the Daytona 500 would be pretty amazing. But I think that's more of a dream than a reality. So just got to wait and see how it goes. I'm talking to a lot of people. There's a lot of sponsors that have called to say, hey, we want to be a part of that. Just got to see where it goes from here.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
Alex Gins for Frontstretch.com. Come back for more great racing content, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.